A man should have a hobby.
Well, it's more than a hobby. A hobby's supposed to pass the time, not fill it.
Your time's so empty.
Well, hello everyone. I'm in my boat. It's this September 23rd, 2021, rainy day in Norway, and I am, I have been tidying or cleaning out my boat because I have the hole out in a week's time. So, just to introduce myself a bit, my name is Trond. I live outside Oslo, Norway. And I have been sailing, well, more or less all my life, really. Racing since the age of 10. And not very much cruising. Actually done most cruising after I bought this boat 3 years ago. And when I'm not cruising or sailing, I'm working as a maritime pilot in the Oslofjord, which I have done over the last 15 years, and prior to that I did work in the North Sea on offshore vessels, mostly anchor handlers. So a navigational background, ship handling background, and sailing on my spare time. So why do I want to make videos? Well, I'm not very good in this, or I think I'm not, and I will not make a big thing out of it, but I've had a lot of help on YouTube for tips and tricks and everything around fixing boats, fiberglass work, gel coat work, electrical stuff, all kinds of stuff really, engine stuff, last but not least. And if I can, I would like to give a bit back. So I thought it might be a good idea to make a few videos and over the things I'm planning to do or have been doing. So I haven't made any videos so far on the boat work. I have a few pics though, and I will guide you through what I've done, just a brief story on what I've done so far. And this winter, the big plan is to renew the entire electrical system, because I think she still has the original setup from 1979. The boat is actually a Maxi 87 built in Sweden, 1979, number 312. Out of a production line of I think about 450 boats, if I'm not mistaken. She's a good boat, solid, carries a lot of canvas, or she can carry a lot of canvas in windy conditions. Quite heavy, masthead rig. But my plan is to give you a boat tour when she looks a bit better than she does now. So I will give you a short brief of what I've done so far. I bought the boat in 2018 and she was in actually quite a good condition, especially the interior was very well taken care of. The teak had been oiled on a yearly basis and the cushions were new. The exterior, however, was not that good. The bottom had thick layers of anti-fouling which was peeling off, and the keel was also in a sorry state with a lot of corrosion. So we took it down to bare steel and then applied one layer of unthickened epoxy before fairing and sanding it twice. And then finally we put on 6 layers of epoxy primer, which was actually Hempel's light primer. The bottom was given the same treatment. It was sanded down to the gel coat and then reapplied 6 layers of epoxy primer. And then finally it was given 2 layers of anti-fouling. The skin fittings were actually surprisingly good, but all the valves were stuck, so we decided to replace them. And we ended up using composites ones from True Design, which of course are not subject to galvanic corrosion. And it was actually quite an easy job, though we had some trouble with the old hoses to make them fit the new valves. And then finally we had a leak in the rudder, which was taken care of through the skeg. The second year we did everything from the waterline up to the deck. First of all, we removed the old decals, which were made of tape, and then we also took off the windows, though they were not leaking, but you could hardly see through them. We were fortunate enough to find new ones from Ömetal in Sweden, which holds much better quality than the old polycarbonate ones from Maxi, and we were quite happy with the result. The freeboard hadn't been polished for, well, a lot of years, and we actually water sanded it with Abralon 2000 and then 4000 before we polished it and waxed it. Instead of using tape or decal tapes, we decided to paint the new stripes on, and the result was actually quite good. And of course it lasts very much longer than the original tape. The spring of 2021, we started working on the teak in the cockpit. It was in quite a bad condition, and we had water ingress underneath it. Also, the hatches for the storages were quite bent and in bad condition. So we took measurements from the old ones and made a new mold, and then fiberglass 2 new hatches. It was actually the first time I did this kind of work, at least at this scale, but it actually came out quite well in the end, in my opinion. I have to thank Andy at Boatworks today for that. And then we took all the old caulkings out, and we had to reattach some of the old teak before we taped the seams and re-caulked it. And to be honest, it came out extremely much better than I had ever expected. And it's still in quite a good condition, though it's starting to go grey again, of course. So the new hatches were put in place, and new teak was put onto it. And then everything sanded down in the end. The very last thing we've done on the boat is installing pressure water. The boat had manual pumps on this, and one after one they were breaking down. So with some time to spare this summer, we finally had the pump and the accumulator tank installed, and also a shower in the cockpit, which is really nice to have in the summer. that's all for now, folks. I will try to make a short video of the haul out and basic winterization of the boat. But I will not produce videos on a weekly basis or anything like that. It will be when things are happening here and I have a bit time to spare. I will be doing my videos with the cell phone camera and maybe a GoPro. I will not invest in fancy cameras or equipment. So if the quality is not the best, you have to excuse me. So I think that's it. And I'm looking forward to doing more videos then when I got something to publish. So see you around. Bye.